Welcome back. This is a review of week one. I'm going to do in a couple small little modules. So first of all, we're going to work in a composition. We can either hit new composition here or and we could hit it there and do this, or we could go to composition, new composition. So we're going to stay HD. We're going to keep it about a 10-second timeline. We can change these. We'll keep it as a black background. And if I say OK, I have a new composition. We could have organized this a little bit better, and I can rename this now by right-clicking. And I'm going to call this text animation. So that's where we started last week, is how do we bring text in? I'm going to hit my fit window here. I'm going to grab my text tool, and I'm going to click in DME 2020. I'm going to go to my Align tool, and I'm going to center it up on the page. And I'm going to start backwards by opening up my keyframe areas. Go to Transform. So it's click here, open up Transform. I'm going to do Position. So I want this to fly in over 15 frames. So 15 frames at a half a second. I'm going to hit Position, and that's where I want it to end. So I want it to start off frame. So I'm going to go backwards. And I'm going to grab my Select tool or my V tool. And I'm going to click, Shift, Drag. And that takes it off the screen. So now I have point A, point B. So it flies onto the screen. Okay. Then I want to pause till about 2 seconds. So put a pause in. I can copy this, Command C, and paste it, and it's going to paste it wherever it is. Another way to do that is to click this little button right here, and that'll do it too. So it moves in, and it pauses to there. Then at that point, I want it to rotate down. So I'm going to go to Rotation next, and I'm going to make it do a quick rotation down. So we'll go to a 90 degrees right here. So you can kind of see it goes from point to point to point, and then it does that. And then I need another position point right there. So I'm just going to move this one over right there. And then I'm going to have it drop off the frame. So click, Shift, Drag. Okay. So we have our first little movement. I want my next one to come in as the other one starts rotating. I'm going to have it come from over here. And we're going to do another way to get text is layer new text. And I'm going to say Metropolitan Commune. I'm going to get this back on the page. I'm going to change the color of this real quick before I finish typing. And I'm going to go with more of a cyanish color on this. Not community, too many M's. And we're going to say college. And I want that text to be centered. So I'm going to go to my paragraph. And I have to select all of them within there. So I'm going to center it up. And I'm going to put it onto the page. Look what it did to my center point, too. That centering changed it right there. So I want this to knock the other one off as it goes down. So this will, I want the C to knock the D off. So that's where I want this one to start. So I'm going to open up the second layer. I'm going to go to Transform. I'm going to go to Position. And I'm going to roll back a little bit. And I'm going to click, Shift, drag that off. Click, Shift, drag. And it should knock it down as it hits. And then once it hits, or that goes off, I'm going to center that picture back up. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to back to my align, and this should put the keyframe back in. So let's watch this and see what it does, if it does what I want it to do. I don't like the Bezier curve in it, so I'm going to put one more copy of that in there, and that should, yeah, I'm going to make that move over a little bit slower. So then it'll knock it off and then slide back to where I want it to. Okay, and then I want it to fade out at 4 seconds. I'm going to go to opacity. I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm going to put another opacity keyframe in and go to 0. And that's where I want to end for right now. The last thing I want to do on this one right now is I want to turn my motion blur on. So I enable motion blur here, and then I have to do it on each layer. Okay, so that will enable my motion blur, and we can go from there. So that's our review for text.